was founded in 1998, which is a multicultural organization, helps to fight racism in Finland, helps immigrants, and also build bridges between communities, and also organizes events like this, so not just building bridges between communities in Finland, but also showing that we here in Finland are connected to what happens around the world. And this is the fifth time that my organization, ICAT Finland, is involved in organizing the Peace Forum. So from ICAT, which is short for Israeli Committee Against House Demolitions. So this is an organization founded in Israel in 1998, as the name says, especially to oppose the demolition of Palestinian homes, but which is expanded and opposes the Israeli occupation and the apartheid regime and works towards the realization of human rights in an equal manner for everybody living in Israel, Palestine. Before I introduce the speakers, I should say a word of thanks to the Finnish Ministry of Education and Culture who are funding this event. So if you like this, you could go on their webpage and send them a note of thanks or send them an email to express your appreciation.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for inviting me here. What you forgot to say, Suksa, is that I'm an honorary Gazan. And as much as I cling to the facts, I see behind the facts the people that I've come to love so much in this place. And during all this war that is now the topic, or almost the topic of our meeting today, lived through real hell. And this is something I never forget, even if I'm keeping a dry and detached language. Over the years, I've learned sometimes to be short when necessary, and especially in this era of tweets. So if I were asked to say something in tweets by Twitter, I would say one is not enough, but three, in order to describe the situation, and I will describe it that way. The first tweet is that there is no Palestinian in the world that has not been harmed by Israel since the beginning. The second tweet would be that there is no Palestinian in the country, in the whole country, between the river and the sea, that is not threatened every day by Israeli policies, be it in life, be it in property, be it in liberty, be it the job, land, the loss of close people, the injury of close people. Every Palestinian is being threatened by Israeli policies every moment. And the third tweet is that every Palestinian is an individual project of resilience vis-a-vis this Israeli threat. Every Palestinian is an example, is a even unchosen project of combat, let's say popular combat against Israeli violence. So the standard, whatever we're talking about, the standard is state violence, Israeli state violence against the Palestinians, all the time and all the Palestinians. The real stage of Palestinians is resistance to this violence. The forms of this resistance might change and vary. The level, the intensity, but this is the natural state of affairs of every Palestinian. Resilience, but also geographically. This policy of separation was done by bureaucratic means of closure or the system of movement permits. Every Palestinian since 91 had to have a permit to move. Until 91, actually, the Israeli policy was to acknowledge to let all Palestinians have freedom of movement, but a few categories that did not have, I mean, for the 20 years. This change, this was just the inverse since 91. Israel deprived all the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank from their right to freedom of movement, except of a few categories. And this is another component that accompanies us still today. All Palestinians are deprived of their freedom of movement in the country, except of a few categories that Israel decides, a number of them. And this is another component or characteristic of Israeli rule, and how Israel has adopted it, is not to listen to the message of Palestinian resistance, to the political message of Palestinian resistance, but to develop or to improve the technical means in order to oppress this resistance. And this is something that we see, this is the nature of the escalation. Palestinians respond to or fight against Israeli basic violence, and then Israel does not listen to the message, to the political message of this Palestinian response, but finds and develops more methods and more developed and high-tech methods.
Rockets, Amira, this is fair fight.
Can't you wait?
Excuse me.
Can't you wait?
Questions and comments are only after the speaker.
Exploding buses.
So, you don't listen, you just give the proof that there are also in Finland people who don't listen. Listen. Israelis don't want to listen. Israelis don't want to listen, and also their friends here in Finland don't want to listen. And this is very typical as prisoners in their enclave, in one enclave. It is called, it is under the Palestinian Authority, but, or used to be, but people were imprisoned. Now the geographic fragmentation, because of this geographic fragmentation, every group of Palestinians in the different regions developed its own means of resisting the occupation. But these different means, like the Haitian refugee camp, for example, in the Second Intifada, chose not to fight not to fight the Israeli army with arms. They objected to it. Fatah leaders in the camp objected to the use of arms. They said, we don't want to give Israel a pretext to destroy the camp. The Fatah members in Jenin refugee camp were the opposite. They chose to fight back the Israeli army, to fight back with arms. So these differences are not only because of geographic fragmentation, but also because of different temperaments, and something that I could say an internal rivalry or competition between Palestinians.
We have, I think we'll take a few questions and answers, and then we'll move to the coffee. And please try to keep sort of commentary short, because I know that there are probably many people who want to speak. So questions, please raise your hands. There is Johannes. Can you give the microphone over here?
Just them.
Oh yeah, so can you please tell your name and then ask the question?
Yeah, my name is Kenneth Sikorsky. My question is for you, Mr. Habil. Now, on Finnish TV, you present yourself as a very moderate voice. In the presentation, you present yourself in a pretty much even way. But I question why. I ask you why. Would you associate yourself in a presentation like this under the quote-unquote peace forum, which has nothing to do with peace? Absolutely nothing. This has nothing but a bash Israel evening. And this has happened more and more and more over the years. I've been to many of these. And never has anything ever said positive about Israel. All the evils of Israel and the poor Palestinians have done squat, done nothing. I am. Excuse me, I'm having a little bit of free speech here. I was quiet the whole time.
Wow, wow, wow. Keep it short.
Okay, so
I'll make it clear.
that was the question. The questions come is this. Why would you associate yourself with people such as this, who represent the fringe of the fringe in your Israeli society? Amira has advocated stoning people throwing stones at civilians. And the other gentleman over here belongs to a party whose head is left for Qatar, and he's a fugitive from Israeli law.
Thank you.
For being a spy for Hezbollah.
Sure,
So please answer the
Excuse me,
question.
please,
Sure.
can you let Hanno, please, let's remain calm, everybody. So, Hanno, do you want to answer? And then I don't know if Amira and Jamal want to comment, but Hanno. Okay, so we take a couple of more questions. We take a couple of questions. So, second question.
I'm Yana Bari.
I heard Mr. Zahalka talking about picking sides between the pilot or the child in Gaza. And I'm wondering, personally, why and what is your opinion on the people in Gaza who are being executed by Hamas because of protesting against the rocket launching, and who were demonstrating for peace? I would like to personally pick the side of these people who are calling for peace and being executed, killed because of that.
Thank you for that question.
With Mr. Sikorsky.
Can you please introduce yourself? Thank you.
Michel Grunstein. I belong to the Jewish community of Helsinki. Hello. I agree with Mr. Sikorsky that I would challenge the organizers next time to invite a representative of Israel from the majority side. Year after year, you ask the minority representatives. It has been interesting, but it would be more balanced and more to the nature of peacemaking.
You do it in your organization, by the way?
So, it's difficult for people to hear the voice of the government and the mainstream of Israel by following the media. That's for choosing sides. We will always be on the side of those and present the voices of those who advocate for equal rights to everybody, and never on the side of those who advocate that some people should